Hi, everyone. While I'm giving everybody time to log on, I need to check a few things myself. And I'm just giving people time to log on. I'm just giving everybody time to log on while I'm giving everybody time. I need to check into something. Okay, so if you guys, I am trying to get my live to show up on my Facebook page. It didn't do that last week, so I am working diligently to get that going. If you guys can bear with me. Um, let's see. Don't seem like I'm gonna get it to do that today. So I hope everybody's doing well. Um, if I have anybody on, just say hi. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be on. And let's see. I'm gonna close that out for just a minute and let me check into something. If y'all can bear with me for like 1 minute. So today our conversation is just about like, hi Kim, hi. So today our discussion is going to be like about managing growth part 2. So this is us digging into the boring, uncomfortable, do not want to talk about information. Um you guys, if I would have knew, I'm gonna get this stuff together one day. But if you're on, share this live right now. If you have time, share my live right now. If you guys are on, share the live. I'm not sure why it is not showing up on my Facebook page right now. But that'll be something I handle next time around. I wasn't prepared. So let me jump right in. Let me pull up my PowerPoints. And you guys, I learned how to I learned how to put my PowerPoint on correctly this time. So kudos to me. Um, Hi Kim. Let me check something real quick. Give me a second. I hope this don't take me off. Okay. So I just shared it to my page. Hopefully that works. Okay. Okay. So we are talking about like our managing growth. This is our compliance and structure. So let's get into it. Let's see what happened. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is I want you guys to always remember that with Lotus 522, we grow from the ground up. So what I mean by that is we don't try to skip any steps or try to we try to on in on the things that we've left behind, that we've missed, that we need to structure properly before we're able to elevate into the next level of our business. Okay. So with Lotus Live, we grow from the ground up, just like a seed. When we plant the seed, it needs time to grow, it needs time to sprout, it roots. So we started with it, always starts with the roots and things of that nature, and then it grows. Okay, it needs a little water, it needs a little sunshine, it needs a little love. Okay, and the same thing is with our business, and we need to do that. We need to make sure that we're operating in a business that is structured properly for future wealth, for future growth, or whatever, whatnot. Okay, so remember I told you guys about our topic for today. I was saying like that we was going to be talking about managing our systems. We kind of went over like some systems that we need to have in place last time, different tools we can have in place, and things about ourselves, learning about how to manage ourselves when it comes to growth. So now this week right here, we're kind of getting into like the structures and the compliance part. Okay. And I was able to share my live on my page. And I'm not sure why the live isn't showing up on my page exactly. That's what it's supposed to do. But it's we're just working through a few kinks. So hi everyone. Hi. So managing your business and growth. Okay. Stuff that we already know. Let me go back. Let me go back. Okay. I gotta learn how to do that too. Okay, so before I get started, this part two is mainly going to be for my entrepreneurs that have been in business for a while, maybe 2-3 years or something. Because I've learned that when we first get into business, we are looking at our business as it's a baby. We're just getting started. We just trying to see, is it going to work for us. So do this work, or does this not? Like, this is something I'm interested in. Let me see, is it going to grow? Let me see what it has for me. And then after that, after we've been running the business and trying to get a few things structured and things of that nature, and we probably already have these things already that's listed on the screen. But I just want to cover those small bases, nothing long, something quick and simple, because like I said, we start from the ground up. Okay, so is your business structured? And what does that look like? So are you registered with the state? I know in Georgia, I think the registration fee between like $100 to $120. In Alabama, it's running between 230 to 250. I believe I paid 250 for mine when I got Lotus going, and the Risa G event planning in Alabama. Your EIN is free, but these are things you need to be able to say, hey, I have a legitimate business. I am ready to take this business to the next level. Okay. The EIN is free. You get it out off of the IRS.gov. You can get your Dun and Bradstreet number off of the Dun and Bradstreet website, free as well. You need a business phone. You need a business address, so not your home address. You need a domain and an email, so not at gmail.com, not at outlook.com, at yahoo.com, none of that. You need a domain. My domain is lotus522.com. If you look up my event planning company, is DeresaGEvents.com. Okay. If you need to email me, if a company wants to work with me, big companies, any company, small company, but especially for um, bigger companies, if you're looking into getting loans and things of that nature, then you want to have that email with that proper domain to look more credible. And not saying it's not going to work um, with a regular email, but just to look more credible. So mine is info at lotus522.com. Okay. And then we have like the business bank account. Business bank account, this is not your regular bank account. You need to have a business bank account. You need to treat it as a business bank account. So um, don't be mixing money, intertwining money from your personal to business, thing of that nature. And so some of our compliances, and like I said, you guys, I know that a lot of times we don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of our business. Okay. Sometimes we don't. We focus on marketing, making money, branding, supporting, partnering up with others, maybe doing community service, things of that nature, but we do not get into the compliances like we need to, especially when we first starting out. But if you are ready to operate your business towards wealth, you have to take a look at some of these things. And so that's why I am discussing these things. Okay. So stay with me because we're going to get into the marketing, we're going to get into branding, we're going to get into those things. But how can we say we are ready to build wealth, and that's what we're coming here for, to build wealth, to strive to be successful, things of that nature. How can we get this in alignment where it's no longer a hobby, it's no longer um running a business, but it's not operating correctly. So we just lining these things on up. So some of our compliances is like the operating agreement, and I get into more information about that. Hi, everyone who is joining in. I hope all is well. Oh, like the sorry. I cannot see who's all in. So hi, just say hey in the comments if you're joining me today. And like I said, this is one of our discussions where like I was stating, we don't want to get into the nitty gritty of the business. We try to work on the marketing, the branding, those type of things. But are we really looking into what our business needs to flourish, to move into the next level that it needs to move in? Okay. And we need some things in place to do that. And if we forgot about it after 1 or 2 years, then let's come back to it and get into it. Okay. So we got the operating agreement. I touch bases on that. Insurance and license, things that you might need in like your city or your state. Especially like your city, if it's certain insurance or license that you're gonna need to operate your business, make sure that you have those in place. It is April now. We still have time. Let's go ahead and do what we need to do. So for the remaining of the year, we can be having all our things in alignment. Hi, Trinicia. Glad to have you here, honey. Then our annuals for Alabama and our annuals for Georgia. So I touch bases on all of these things. Not so much of the insurance and license because that varies depending on the structure, what type of business you have. So it might be different from somebody who has a daycare business compared to someone having um, a food company. Okay. So those that varies. So I didn't try to do too many details on that. But just know you need to have those things and look into what you need. Now, the information that I'm giving you guys, remember, do your due diligence. Okay, look into this thing yourself. Don't just go off of what somebody is telling you. You can look into it yourself and see what fits for you. Okay. Now, the things I'm going over right here, these things right here are going to protect you from the corporate, um the piercing of the corporate veil. And I don't know if any of you guys ever heard of that, but that's when, if you're getting sued or something of that nature, if the court takes a look into your company and it's not structured properly, then the LLC is no longer protecting you. They'll go after your personal assets. Okay. So that's just something to keep in mind. And that is why I'm going over this, because like I said, if we finna build this business up to where it needs to go, honey, people gonna be trying to do all type of things. We never know. We gotta have ourselves, our T's crossed, our I's are dotted. Okay. We need to have that together. So operating agreement is a legal document that defines the internal structure, management, and operating process for the limited liability company, LLC. Okay. So um this is nothing that you have to turn into the state. This is something you keep on hand, on record. So if you do have it, make sure that you have it put away in a safe spot. Okay. But this right here kind of the operating agreement kind of goes into details about your business. It's not really that complicated, especially if you're doing your single member LLC. It's a little bit more easier and more manageable, and understand you can kind of understand a little bit better, because you don't have to get into like so many moving parts if you have partners and things of that nature. Okay. So what's included in your operating agreement? Okay. So the name of your LLC, your business address, those things I already talked about. Purpose of the business, information date, and state. Okay. So simple information. That's part of it. Then we get into the ownership structure. And like I said about the operating agreement, this is not something that you do on the state registration, on the state website. This is something you create separately. You file away for yourself, and it shows how you want your business to be ran and operated. Okay. And I have an outline if you guys want that. If you want this PDF form or the slides, let me know and I will DM these to you if you want this information. Okay. I'm not trying to put a lot on my people. I just want us to be structured properly. Okay. So if you have any comments, make sure you drop them below. And if I can answer them, I will. If it's something that we probably want to talk about offline, then I'll just let you know that. Okay. So the ownership structure, the name of the member. So if you're a single member LLC, you are the member. If you have a partner, then you'll put both of your partners down, or you have multiple members that um, is operating under this, then you'll do that. But we're solely looking at LLC. Okay. So you are the owner, you're the member. Percentage of the ownership each member holds. Like I said, very simple. You're the member, you're the owner, you own 100%. And then what you with your initial contribution. So you can say how much money you putting in, a certain amount of money, what you want to put in every month if you want to. Like I have funds that come out of a certain account that goes strictly there. And I wrote out, when I was doing this, I just wrote out that my company, well, me personally, I was putting in funds to my company, and I went to a certain amount that I wanted to put in my company. And I also said that I put in in this operating agreement that I wanted to pay myself back when I reach a certain amount of money. So it's like a loan. So yes. And you can write that, or you can say, hey, I want to put the full thing and I'm not looking for a loan. But these are things you can do. So for me personally, I just say I'm loaning this to my company, and it's wrote in my operating agreement. Um, so then you have the management structure. You have like member management or manager management. I'm not going to get too far in the details, but member management is, like I said, if you have multiple people that are managing, that are the owners or the members of this LLC. And even when you grow your company, so if you're growing your company, then if you have other members or other people that you're bringing into the company, you can be member managed or manager managed. It's best to be manager managed, because when you get ready to make certain decisions in your company, if you're member managed, then you got to get the approval of all your members. But if you're manager managed and you set yourself as the manager, then you make those decisions. Now, you guys, I don't want to bore you, so let me know in the comments. Like, is this some information that you kind of already knew? Is this some information that is new to you? Is it something you want to learn about? Just throw it in the comments. Throw it in there. I want to see what you guys got to say. Okay, so let me know. Because I don't want to sound like a broken record and put in things that my people already know about. Okay, so um so yeah, let's continue on. And so we have those things in place. And then we have the roles and responsibilities of the members or managers. So what's your roles? What's the responsibilities of those things? How you want, so the voting rights and the decision making. So let's see what you said. Can you explain the paying yourself again? Okay, so this right here is not me paying myself. This right here is, I'm just starting a company, and I am putting in funds from my personal account to my business account, because I have to grow the business and it can't start off from scratch. So so what I'm doing is I'm putting in a certain amount of money a month in my company, that it can sustain the things that I any of my not budget, sorry, any of my things that I am using for my company, like my for example, like my StreamYard is being pulled from my bank account, from my business bank account. My what is it? Y'all, I got so many. Hold on. Just my I postal. So my business address information stuff is being pulled, that I have to pay that monthly. So all of those are being pulled out. So you can you can say, hey, I this is going to be a loan to my company for a certain amount of time, or however you want to write, because you are the manager, so you can do it how you want to. But I just put that for 12 months I will be putting in this amount of money, and I put in the next, I can't remember if I put in 12 months I need to pay that money back or something like that. I'm gonna have to read back over exactly what I put, but it's only a loan for my company. As far as paying yourself, there's ways you can do that too. You can put a certain amount of money that you want to pay yourself, and you can write yourself a check. You can send it via Zelle to your personal account, and you just put what you're sending it for. Like, you're paying yourself. It's different ways you can do with paying yourself too. I think I have it on here, if I'm not mistaken. But if not, then I come back to that, Kim. But hopefully that explains what I was talking about when it comes to paying my company, me putting money into my company because it's a new company. Okay. Um. So what else is included? Profit and loss. Um. So how profit and loss are split or whatever. Now, I was just thinking about something. I'm gonna come back to that. So how profit and losses are split, and when and how distributions are made. Okay. So that is the profit and loss distribution that's also added into your operating agreement, meeting and voting procedures. So how often you're voting, your meeting will occur, and you can have one meeting if you would like, for just an annual meeting, and that could be where we plan on taking the business next. Oh yeah. I when I was researching and just writing up my operating agreement, I seen that in some of my research, and I was like, oh, okay. And so I put that in mind. Like I said, it's nothing that I had to give to anyone. So I'm like, this how I got it structured. And the main thing for the operating agreement is just to have some type of structure saying that I got a certain type of procedure for my business. Um, and so it's good to also have a spreadsheet. If you do not have that, that's one of the a tool that you can use, like a spreadsheet, or you can do QuickBooks or something like that, to keeping up with your how your profits and with your profits and loss and things of that nature. When and how distributions are made, meeting and voting procedures, um, and how often. So that is how often meetings will occur. So, like I said, it could be 1 year if you want to. It could be annually. It could be quarterly, however you see fit. And you are the person in charge, so you can say however you want those meetings to go, and you just do a couple of keep some minutes. I'm stuttering, you guys. Keep some minutes or whatever, whatnot, to keep up with the discussion that you had with yourself. Especially if you, like I said, a single member LLC. Voting threshold for key decisions, like I said, is you. So whatever decisions you would like to make, and it's just ways that you can write that as well. I wish I can pull up mine, but it's gonna show, if I take this down, it's gonna show all of my stuff that I have pulled up, and I don't want to do that. But I wish I could pull mine up for you guys. Um, and if you, like I said, if you need a copy of these, or if you want, I also have a template where you can write out your operating agreement. DM me, let me know, and I will get that sent over to you. Um, so then, rules for changes, process for adding or removing members. So how how would you add a member? How would you remove a member? Guidelines for selling or transferring ownerships. So what happens if the member dies or leaves? So those that type of things, like I said, getting structured, getting ready. So once your business start growing, and if you're adding new members or managers, say for instance you want to say, hey, I want to add a new manager, I'm ready to walk away, not walk away from my business, but let somebody else kind of take this on, then how would they come about, and things of that nature. um Dissolution process. So steps to dissolve the LLC. And I think you can put the steps to dissolve the LLC, but you can dissolve it through your Secretary of State, and just going through the steps, like what would you do? And keep in mind, we're a single member LLC, so this really off of what you want to do, how you want this to be ran, and having this on file, so it will not be where you're not looking structured, and how remaining assets will be distributed, distributed, distributed. Miscellaneous provisions. So dispute resolutions, governing laws. So like what type of laws that applies for the state that you're in, an amendment, and how they can be made. So you might want to say, hey, instead of me, instead of us going to court, how would we, if we have a disagreement, how would we um, handle any issues that we have coming about? Okay. So questions, comments. Do you have these things in place? Let me know in the comments. Like, do you guys have these things in place already? Is this something that you kind of looked at but didn't kind of get into? I got stuff popping all over. Getting into, let me know in the comments. And I hope everyone is having a great day. I cannot see who's all in here, but it was a very nice day today. I actually, while I'm waiting on people, if y'all have any questions or comments, just kind of talking. I went to the dam today and kind of sat back, finished up some of my Lotus Live information, took some more notes. I did some videos that I need to post on YouTube, but I haven't posted them yet. I probably get into that this weekend. So, really a relaxing day, and I hope you guys had a relaxing day too. We running a business. We may be working as well. Those different things, but um, sometimes we have to take some time out for ourselves, and I guess I did that, but not so much because, like I said, I was finishing up my Lotus Live information, things like that. Yes, like with my first company, Kim, I really didn't even, I looked into it, but I didn't take it serious. And like now I'm like, I want to build this company towards success, towards something that can grow tremendously. And so these simple, small things right here that we can just touch bases on, and it shouldn't even, it won't even take long. And you guys, we have Chat GPT that can help us get all these things together. So this information that I'm giving you, plug in your stuff on Chat GPT if you want to. Ask the questions that you need to get your business operating, to build this operating agreement. Like I said, I have a template if you want to plug in and ask the questions, so you can kind of see what is all. If you want to ask Chat GPT about it and plug in those things for you, it helped me. That's what I did, and I just wrote in my own things as well. So yes, it created something for me, but I plugged in what was fit for me and my company, how I want it to be ran. It might wrote something out, but I changed up um how I want it to be ran, and I made it fit for me. So you can always do that. If you have spreadsheets, because I don't have exactly. Can you say spreadsheet, because I don't want to owe the government exactly, honey. And sometimes I be like, I'm picking up way too many, I'm packing way too many losses sometimes. But the show must go on. And I have a spreadsheet too. So I do not have QuickBooks. I have a spreadsheet that I use, and it formulates my things. So with my profit and loss, and when I put in my numbers, it automatically um add everything up and subtract everything that I needed to do. um yeah, and you can add other things in there, but I don't really try to play around with the spreadsheet because I don't want to mess up um the way the formula is fixed up for me. But I've been using it for both businesses, and I love my spreadsheet, and I've been having it for a while now. So, and it always worked for me. So a spreadsheet is perfect. So this is what I was talking about right here. The piercing of the corporate veil. So this right here is a legal doctrine where a court disregards the legal separation between a company and its owners, holding the owner personal liable for the company's actions or debt. Okay. So what will cause a piercing of the corporate veil? Let's get into it. Not having an operating agreement. So somebody might be saying they don't even have their business structure. They don't even know how it's ran. They don't know this and blase blase. The court can take a look at that. If you don't have that, they can take a look at this and say, hey, you don't have this in place. You're not operating correctly like a legitimate business should be operating. That's why I said this is important before we move on to the next step. And the things that I have for you guys, I got to make sure that I cover the basics, the basic things that we are needing to operate our business, to get out of this hustle. This is just a side hustle. This is just something I'm doing. This is something I'm just trying to see where it goes. We need to have a plan in place. And if you don't have a plan in place, if you don't even have a pause on the corporate veil, if you don't even have a plan, a business plan in place, if you are part of the Lotus entrepreneur, the Garden of Entrepreneurs, Lotus Garden of Entrepreneurs, my group. If you go into the group and check my files, you can see where I have a template of questions. If you don't have um, a business plan, very simple, very straight to the point. Like I said, plug it into Chat GPT if you want to, and operate it and fix it how you want to as well. I'm a kind of I don't have much left, but I'm gonna try to speed it up just a little bit because I don't want to hold too long, and I was kind of late coming in. So, um, so yeah, if you need a business plan as well, click up there in the link if you are a member of the Lotus Entrepreneur Garden of Entrepreneurs, and you can get that. Okay. And I will also, by this weekend, I will put in the operation agreement template as well. But if you want it before then, just DM me. Like I said, not recording meeting minutes. So like I said, it's your LLC. You can do it how you want to. You can have meetings weekly if you want to, monthly. However, but you need some type of meetings that say, hey, this is what we discussed. And if it's you discussing or thinking, even if you're thinking about your business, like just sitting back saying, um, me just thinking about my business and what all I want to do, just put those notes in, what time you did, what time you started, what time it ended, what you discussed. Maybe you discussed purchasing a new laptop, purchasing a new phone, making sure that my business is structured properly in the next month, things like that. Just record some meetings, whatever you're thinking for yourself. Make those your meetings. Um, and and I'm finna say, like, I got like bukus of books of me writing out my things that I want to do in my company, how I want to grow it, what I want to do. And I always put the dates on my notes. So if you're jotting down things about your business, like I said, put the note, the date and things like that in there. The date. All of my pages have the dates in here. Um, and I don't know why I've always done that. How often do you think you should update your business plan? I think it all depends on how far you see your business out. Some people every year, but they just touch pieces on it maybe every 5 years. Me personally, I did mine's up to a year, and I go back to it. The reason why I did mine for a year because I want to be realistic, and I didn't want to scare myself off. So I know that sounds crazy, and let me explain myself. So with my first business, when I got into it and I was looking at business plan, I panicked. I got in panic mode. That said, well, you see the business in 5 years, and I'm like, I'm just putting stuff. What I think it might be here, but I didn't know how to step from that 5 year and say, how do I get here in 5 years? So I stepped back and said 1 year. And I knew how I can get there in 1 year because this is what I'm doing now. And I did um and I've done that. So also Kim, I'm not I'm gonna say 1 to 5 years, but don't hold me on the 5 years because I did my business plan last year in May for Lotus Live. I'm not planning on updating for Lotus 522 Consulting. Sorry, you guys, for my business. Um, I'm staying right there where I'm at right now for my company. And the reason why is I'm not finished out the full year what I seen projecting. So I'm pushing it out. Um Also, a lot of things, if nothing is really changed in your business, don't change anything in the business plan. If you still have the same target audience, don't change it. If you still have um the same structure, how you plan on getting your profits, things of that nature, I wouldn't change it. If anything hasn't really, if you haven't planned on changing anything in the company itself, is if everything's still the same, and then if something has changed, you just touch bases on the part that has changed. Um, like for me right now, I am my business plan operates for new business owners for the most part, but I also have for um entrepreneurs who are tired of ready to structure their business and been in business for a while, but just haven't taken it so seriously. So that's still intertwining all together with what I'm doing now. So I believe I wouldn't change it unless you're growing and the business has surpassed the plan. Because right now with my business, and that's something that I will be discussing in some of my Lotus Live and um a few things I have for the future is business strategy. So if I already have a business plan, then there's no need for me to redo this business plan. But I can do a business strategy for a certain product, or I'm not even gonna say a certain product, but where do I see for the next 6 months for that plan that to happen for me. So I will be touching bases on that in the next up and coming months. If you guys want to stay tuned, I'll be having some classes on business strategies, how we can strategize our business for 6 months to a year if we want to even get to the plan. or whatever, whatnot. Um, so yeah, we'll be touching base on that. Let me get back on to this because I am running out of time. I'll probably be over an extra 10 minutes if you guys do not mind. So cause of the piercing of the corporate veil. So not recording the minutes. I said that. Not having tax records or bookkeeping. Keep your receipts. Put your information in your spreadsheets. A lot of times we've been waiting for at the end of the year, and I am guilty of that. We wait to the end of the year and we want to get all our bookkeeping things in place. I said I was not going to do that this year. So I have been trying to look at my stuff periodically, really every week when I'm looking over my personal budget. I try to make time for my business budget. But if it's not moving, if I haven't made any funds, I just like, okay, I haven't made any funds for that or whatever, whatnot, or haven't put anything out for that. But I'm still keeping up with but those things I told you, like my business address comes out of my account, my domain and email information, all those things that from GoDaddy, that's coming out of my business bank account. So those are on my bookkeeping and how much they are. And I just plug those things in monthly. And that's just what I've been doing lately, just because it's kind of been simple for me to do with the type of business that I have. And right now, but I'm just getting started and getting my feet wet a little bit more. So that's been keeping it a little bit easier. I really believe that if we kind of can touch bases on our stuff, like I said, every other week, so every month, that would be good for us for the end of the year. But I know life happens. We can't get to it like we should. Everything be moving. So it's kind of hard to kind of do that. But we're gonna have to take some time, even if we do it quarterly. Let's do that. Like I said, because these things can take place, especially if you don't have it at all. And under capitalizing. Now, this is part of the piercing of the corporate veil. But so when it says under capitalizing, so what I looked up and what it explained, what I got the gist of it as, if you're running a company, say for instance, you said that you want to run a construction company, but you're saying you coming in with $1,000, then that's under capitalizing. If you are running like simple businesses like what I am running that does not take a lot of overhead, then I can come in with $1,000. Okay. And it's not under capitalizing, or I can come in with less than that. But you really want to be like, are you able to hold this company stable if something happens, if something goes wrong, or is this company is able to keep afloat, or they're gonna think you knew that this company wasn't going to didn't have the funds that it needed to, say you want to take on certain big projects, so they can go in and do the piercing of the corporate veil. So those are like the main core things that causes piercing of the corporate veil. Not having an operating agreement, not recording your minutes, not keeping up with your taxes, tax records, and undercapitalizing. Like I said, do your due diligence. Look more into it when it comes to your company, to make sure, hey, am I in the right? Am I doing what I need to do? Am I in compliances of my company? And then quick things on the annuals for Georgia and Alabama. So I only did I only really kind of looked into Georgia and Alabama, just because those are the cities that I operate in. So, and where my people are at right now. And I want to make sure that I give them some information. Okay. So I wrote, please keep in mind that information may not apply to certain states. I researched Georgia and Alabama. So Alabama requires you to complete an initial business privilege tax return yearly. But so that's yearly. But let's back. So you need to first do your initial business privilege tax return in the first 2.5 months after registering your business. I did mine. I believe it was like $50 or $60, if I'm not mistaken. Once I did my business, it wasn't that much, and they sent me something. Um, I sent them that, did my own research with Lotus Live, but with my first company, they sent me something because I didn't know about the business privilege taxes when I was running the Risa G event planning at the beginning. And then when they sent me something that, so normally they'll send something in the mail like that year or before the year is up and say, hey, this is how much it is. And I'm guessing it varies in Alabama because, like I said, it was like 50 something dollars, maybe 60 some dollars or whatever, whatnot. But when I was researching Georgia, they had a standard amount that they charge. So also with Alabama, this needs to be done by April the 15th. So if you start your business before April the 15th, make sure that that's in there. If you're doing annual before April the 15th, you need to have that completed. The same for Georgia. So um um oh, let me back because I didn't put that on here. But in Alabama, you will go to the let me see if I got this website in here when I was taking notes. You can go to the irs.gov, but I think they gave me a certain website. This is me just taking notes when I was writing and researching. I thought I wrote it in my notes. Didn't go that far. I will have to go back and look that up with some research that I was doing because it gave me a website that you definitely can go to. They got to do with Alabama itself, and I did not write that down. And if you guys know, then y'all know that if it's not on paper, if it's not here, it's out of my mind. So I have to go back for that, and I'll come back and let you guys know. For Georgia, I missed. I was typing fast, but from January the 1st to April the 15th, you have time to do that. Do your annual registration with the Secretary of State, okay? And it's $50 in Georgia. So failure to pay these can result to penalties and administrative administrative dissolutions, okay? Again, questions, comments. Do you have these things in place? So do you guys have these in place? Any questions or comments? While y'all doing that, give me one moment so I can look up some stuff. While I am waiting, if you guys have any comments, I wrote these in my notes. And I said that your business is only going to run at the capacity that you hold it as. So if you're holding it as a side hustle, that's what it's gonna do. If you're holding it as a new company that you just getting started, and you just trying to see, oh, I'm just gonna get my feet wet and I'm just gonna test some things out. I'm just gonna test this out and test that out, but you don't have a whole plan, not have your things structured, it's not gonna do right. You need to have a plan. You need to have a strategy. Okay. If you don't have a plan or a strategy, I have, if you want to get with me, I do 30-minute consultations, free consultations to see where you at in your business, and I can see where I can help you at. I have so I have that for free right now. I'm working on, give me a second. Let me read some comments. Thanks, Trinicia. Trinicia said it's very informative. No, I do not have a lot of these things in place. Yeah, so we need to get these things in place. And look, it doesn't even take long. I thought that when I was getting into it, that it was just like gonna take long, and I thought it was gonna be boring. But I literally got to know my business and myself and what I really wanted for my future and for the business. Like, what did I really see for my company? When I was doing my plan, my business plan, when I've done my business strategies, when I'm looking into this operating agreement. Thank you for Lotus Live. Oh, I can't even do the heart. Thank you for always being supportive. I appreciate all the love that you guys always show to me. Because oftentimes this is not an easy task. Like right now, and this me being transparent and vulnerable. Right now, I'm looking on here and I see that I have maybe 2, maybe 3 people on here. We can't let that discourage us. We got to keep on moving. Like, I can let that get to me, but I'm like, I know my mission here, and my mission is to provide the information that's needed for the people who ready to take this thing and be serious about it. So, um, that's another thing that I said I was working on too. I will have some slots opening up for a 1 hour consultation where if you know a specific thing that you want to work on in your business, I'm going to be opening up a 1 hour discussion for us. That will not be free, but just 1 hour discussion, how I can help you, things, giving you some things to take on the journey. And I'm getting it all laid out now for you guys, but I'm super excited about these. So just some things that I want to help, because I know that a lot of people need like one-on-ones, and I haven't really been advertising that right now because I'm really just trying to stay focused on this, my Lotus Live, building awareness. So if you guys have noticed that I don't really do a lot of um my services, I'm doing, this is my one of my services right here. This is what I'm bringing, and it's um I'm more strategizing around this just to clear up some of my time. And then I'm trying to clear up my time so I can open up these things for you guys, and I think that you're gonna love it. And I got some classes coming as well, so stay tuned to that. Well, I don't want to do the game. It's already 8:10, so I don't want to really hold you guys up. I've already done that enough. I did have a game on here, truth or myth. It was gonna be about, and you already know, it's about the topic that we've been discussing, managing our growth, the compliances and structures. Okay, but I am short on time, so I'm gonna cut this short. I love you guys. Thank you for always joining me. If you have any specific questions that you want to ask me, please don't hesitate to DM me, or I really would like if you just book a consultation. It's free. It's 30 minutes. We can talk about whatever you're needing and how I can help you, and give you maybe a few tips to take along the way that can help you out as you figure out what you want to do after that. Okay. So thank you guys, and I will see you guys soon.